The Houston Rockets have been reportedly an aggressive suitor for Portland Trailblazers star Damian Lillard, and although this seems like a very great move, I personally think they should not make this move. So what's up? My name is Jae'sean. Today we're talking about why the Houston Rockets shouldn't pursue Damian Lillard and why they shouldn't give up basically anything for Damian Lillard. So before that, you guys can video dropping below, press subscribe button, and to continue the video. So I woke up today and then I saw basically if Damian Lillard was to request a trade, there's been a bunch of teams in the mix of trying to acquire Damian Lillard. I think like the Knicks were in there, some other teams, but no, the Heat, the Kings, the Knicks, and the Sixers were reportedly most aggressive for Damian Lillard, and adding in the Houston Rockets into that mix too. So personally, I think they should not pursue Damian Lillard. I mean, like, obviously, he is just 30 years old, and honestly, like, he's really good. Like, don't get me wrong, Damian Lillard is really good, like, one of the best players in the league, probably top 15, top 10, but I just don't think that he fits in with what the Rockets are trying to build, which is a rebuilding team. Now, Damian Lillard definitely wouldn't go to a rebuilding team. It just wouldn't make any sense because he wants to win right now. He is in his prime. He is 30 years old, 31 years old. So he definitely wouldn't go to a rebuilding team where they probably won't win in the next decade or so, maybe. So I don't know, man. I mean, like, we'd give up so much for Damian Lillard too. I mean, we'd probably give up John Wall. We'd probably give up our second pick. We'd probably give up our 23rd and 24th pick. We'd probably give up even more than would we have to just for Damian Lillard. And I definitely don't think we should do it because we're not in the position right now to win, which is definitely apparent because, we still have some really young core pieces on the Rockets that need some time to develop. I mean, we have KPJ, who's still only 21 years old. We have our second pick, which is probably going to be Jalen Green, who still needs to develop. We have Christian Wood, who's only 25. He still has some time to grow. Jae'sean is only 25. He has time to grow. KJ Martin, I mean, we have all these young guys that need to grow. And by trading for Damian Lillard, it just won't give them any time to grow. So yeah, I just definitely don't think the Rockets should do this trade. I mean, it just wouldn't make any sense. I think we should just back out right away because it just wouldn't make any sense. So, honestly, like Damian Lillard, the type of caliber player he is, he's averaging 29 points per game, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, good stats, very great stats for a top 10 player in the league. He is just shooting 39% from 3 and 45% from the field, which is absolutely amazing. I just don't think that he just fits in with what the Rockets are trying to do. It doesn't make any sense. So, Damian Lillard, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm a Portland Trailblazers fan a little bit, because I like what they're trying to build there. Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, although I give him a lot of shit, I think he's pretty good alongside Damian Lillard. I mean, he is a good three-point shooter in the regular season, just can't show up in the postseason. Jusuf Nurkic, I think he's pretty underrated as a center. He just, A, fouls out too much, and B, is injury prone. Robert Covington, we all know what Robert Covington can do. I mean, he can shoot the three. He's a good 3-and-D type of player. I think he's probably one of the best 3-and-D type of players in the league. He's just a really good help defender, a pretty decent on-ball defender, we know what we can do. But, the Portland Trailblazers, by getting the Houston Rockets assets, getting John Wall, getting probably Eric Gordon, probably getting Jae'Sean, I want to say, and then probably a couple of firsts. John Wall will probably become their new starting point guard. Eric Gordon coming off the bench because they need some bench depth because they have none right now, and probably Tate coming off the bench too because they need some defense off the bench. They probably would throw in the Waba too for more defensive purposes, which kind of makes sense because they do need some defense. Honestly, like, this team without Damian Lillard is absolutely trash. I mean, if you take Damian Lillard away, all you have is CJ McCollum, which is not all that great in the postseason. I don't think he's enough to carry a team to the playoffs. Same thing with Jusuf Nurkic and Covington. Like, although those three are really good, it just wouldn't make any sense for them to make the playoffs, without Damian Lillard, their floor general, their team leader. So adding in John Wall, like, although John Wall, he is a decent leader at best. I mean, like, he's been injury prone like this whole season. I mean, he did average 21 points per game this season, which is absolutely amazing for someone coming back from an injury. But I don't know, man. Like, replacing John Wall with Damian Lillard, it just wouldn't work. So it wouldn't work for both sides. Either way, I mean, like, it just wouldn't work. So honestly, like, Damian Lillard, like, I love him, man, but him on the Rockets, it just wouldn't make any sense. And honestly, like, I'm better off. The Houston Rockets are better off just keeping off their young assets, their young players, their picks. I mean, honestly, like Jalen Green and KPJ, that's going to be a really fun duo to watch this season, man. Even though we're not going to be that good, I definitely think that KPJ and Green are going to be way more enjoyable to watch than Damian Lillard and KPJ alongside each other. Also, KPJ and Jalen Green have some chemistry on and off the court, so you know it just makes even more sense for them to be paired up rather than Damian Lillard and KPJ. So yeah, for the most part, I mean, Damian Lillard, I definitely like what he's doing there in Portland. I think like being loyal to a team is definitely really important, but you know, it just gets to a point where if you guys don't win in like a decade or so, then like it's time to move on. I mean, as loyal as Damian Lillard is, I think he should definitely go to a contender. The Celtics are kind of interesting because they need a point guard now that Kemba Walker is gone. They would probably give up Jaylen Brown though, which is kind of the down part, and probably Marcus Smart and then a couple of first round picks. I definitely like that trade because Smart and Brown, they both give defense to the Blazers, which they desperately need. Honestly, like with McCollum being absolutely not that great at defense and Lillard being a pretty average defender, I mean, adding on Jaylen Brown and then probably Marcus Smart would be a really good addition. Probably move CJ McCollum for like a good point guard, a good role-playing point guard, I guess. I'm not really too sure who they'd be looking for, but you know, just a point guard that can at least play some defense and can be a starting caliber point guard. I don't even know who they trade for, but you know, it's something out there. Like probably, I don't know, man. Definitely interesting with CJ McCollum. Like there's a lot of things that can go with CJ McCollum, but you know, for the most part, this is a Damian Lillard video. Lillard on the Celtics alongside Tatum would be absolutely ridiculous, man. No, Tatum and Lillard, I definitely like that duo right there. So, but for the most part, the Houston Rockets should definitely not trade for Damian Lillard, and honestly, it just wouldn't work for both sides. So, honestly, that's my take on this whole Houston Rockets being an aggressive suitor for Lillard, and hopefully Rafael Stone does not do this move. So, honestly, hopefully Rafael Stone does the right move, draft Jalen Green, and hopefully we keep our young assets. So that's the new video. Take the video, drop it below, press the subscribe button, and I'm out. Peace.